I came across a video recently where some guy was talking about how he's been exiled by his own race. Basically, it's a black dude that says that he doesn't fit in with his own race and he's different from the others, and he's had some rough experiences because of that. And this video is basically going to be a response not to him, but to people that feel that way in general. Now, when it comes to my own personal experiences, because I feel like I have to talk about that, I am a black American male. But my case is a bit different because my parents are from Africa. So culturally and ethnically, we're a bit different from, your standard black Americans. And that's where the problems came in. We clearly look different. Different enough to the point where they could tell. I've even had people come up to me and say, "Oh, you're not one of us, are you?" But I'm kind of in this position where not only did I face, bullying from black Americans, I honestly didn't really fit in with the way they talked, their culture, and, all that stuff. But I also faced problems with people from my own ethnic group. And in my case, that's what affected me a lot more. When the white people were treating me differently, when the black people were treating me differently, I was like, okay, at least I have my own people. But I did not. And here's where the issues came. The people that treated me the most poorly were not the black Americans. It was not white people. It was not Asian people. It was not Hispanic people. Matter of fact, the only issues I've had with those groups were back in middle school. But that's middle school. It's expected. Kids are stupid. But the worst experiences I've had, and the people that treated me the worst, were people that were a part of my own ethnic group. And my case is a bit unique because I don't particularly look like them. I'm a very ethnically ambiguous person, so I've had people say I look, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Brazilian. So the people from my ethnic group, that's why they treated me bad, because they're like, "Oh, you don't look like us." And funny enough, it was the white people and the black people that were like, "Oh, you look pretty cool, you look exotic." And they're the ones that treated me with respect. And another thing is, I have a very standard American accent, as you guys can tell. So I don't exactly talk like those people. And that's because a lot of them came from Africa and, they do sound slightly American, but they clearly have their own distinct accent. But yeah, these people are like, "Oh, you sound white, you don't sound like one of us, you don't look like one of us." And they would use that to basically make fun of me. And right now I'm describing my past because I don't really live around them anymore. So during my teenage years is when this really happened. Another thing about me is that since I'm not really religious, these people would not like that. Religion is very important in this culture, and if you guys know me, I don't really care about religion at all, so that kind of separated me from these people even further. So at this point, I basically have no real connection to these people besides the fact that we're the same ethnicity. That's basically it. I don't relate to them on a cultural level, on a spiritual level. We don't even look the same because I look very ethnically ambiguous, and most people can't even tell what I am. So I'm kind of in this weird spot where the culture I was born into, the ethnic group I was born into, I don't really relate to them. I feel like I'm just my own individual species. And here's the thing about me compared to, other people. Other people, like the guy I was talking about in the beginning, they've had bad experiences and, they have self-esteem issues, they have problems. The thing about me is I've been through all that, but I kind of like it, to be honest. And here's what I mean by that. When I really thought deeply about it, why would I want to fit in? Why do I need to fit in? So that culture I was born into, I don't care for it. And I've made an entire video about this like 2 weeks ago, but I'ma just reiterate. I have my own culture. I don't need to follow the script of, what these people are doing. I have my own script to follow. And I've had a moment in my life where I was trying to fit in with black Americans. It was a very short phase of my life and, I was 14, 15, so that's the age people really try to fit in and, people just want to copy others. I would listen to rap music like, drill music. I wouldn't act like an idiot, but, I would be like, this is a cool culture. So I tried to basically imitate the culture. I would listen to specific types of music and, do specific things. Thankfully, I quickly grew out of that phase, but, I still cringe when I think about it. I'd say ever since I was 18 years old, That's when I really stopped caring, and I'm 24 now. I don't care about belonging to a certain group of people. The way I see it, I actually enjoy, being what I am, being who I am. And for people that also are like this, for people that also don't fit in, it's not something you should be ashamed about. If anything, it's something you should be proud about. When you go outside in public, you typically see people just playing their exact role society gave them. But people like us that are different from the herd, it's like we designed our own video game character. We didn't take a default outfit, we didn't take a default character. Nah, we spent hours and hours and hours in that screen designing what kind of character we want. Isn't that just so much cooler? And people try to box you in, of course, because of the way you look, but they'll never know the true you. For example, when people see me, they assume that I enjoy rap music. They assume I'm into Drake and, I don't know, Lil Wayne or whatever. I don't even know what rapper is popular right now, to be honest. That's how little I care about rap music, to be honest. I mean, I did used to listen to like old school rappers like Tupac and Nas, Biggie, but that was also a pretty quick phase. I just don't care for rap. And even the black people I told, yeah, I don't really care for rap. They look at me in such a surprised face. And I can already tell what their mind is saying is, how can you be black and not care about rap? That's how superficial everyone is. I just don't care about it. It's just shallow music to me. I don't care to listen to a guy talk about how he has so much money and, someone talking about how much cars he owns. That's all just incredibly shallow. And yeah, not every rapper talks about that, but the vast majority of them do. And that's just not who I am as a person. Being as self-aware as I am, it's basically impossible for me to go on to listen to someone talking about such shallow things. But here's the funny part. Whenever I wear my favorite band t-shirts and I go outside, sometimes people comment about it, and one particular guy not that long ago, he made a very weird comment. He was like, "You listen to that?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "But you?" And I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? And when I thought about it, the guy was basically saying, how can you listen to that? You're black. And this is what I mean by how society tries to push people into boxes. It's so weird how society does this. They try to place you into boxes, and most people, they just follow exactly what society tells them to do. And this is very destructive in my opinion because it basically limits people. People will never really be able to find out who they really are because society constantly says this is who you should be. And here's how this ties into my original point. People like us that don't fit in, we broke out of that script. I'm not trying to brag, but I'm just saying the truth. It's not something you should be ashamed of because you constructed your own character. And when I see people that are different from the way society expects them to be, something about it just kind of makes me feel good. It makes me feel good to see people rejecting the system. And I don't really care too much about making friends, but I'll say this. If I were to try to make friends, it would not be people that are so generic that they just do whatever society says. It would be people that actually have some sort of unique traits. Think about it, man. So many people are just so generic. So many people just want to go out, go to restaurants, bars, brunch, spend a bunch of money, and that's what they call hanging out. Even the friends I've had up until recently, because I blocked them, they were just like this, and that's why I stopped being friends with them. Most people just want to spend. Even the people closest to me, like my siblings, for example. Almost any time we actually go out and do something, it always involves money. Because if I were to say, okay, let's just hang out and talk, let's just skate, talk about life, no one wants to do it. We always have to be doing something, but sometimes I just want to do nothing. I don't want to sit in a crowded restaurant full of people that I don't care about. I don't want to go to a bar and, just play pretend. No. That's why most of my videos are recorded outside in random parks and quiet settings, because these are the kind of places where I feel most alive. But most people, again, they're not like that. They just want to constantly spend money. And it's almost as if, if you're not spending money, if you're not doing some sort of activity, then you're just wasting your time, I guess, according to society. But anyways, back to the topic about race and, not fitting in. I haven't seen people commenting on my videos talking about, I didn't know you had melanin. I didn't know you were black. Of course you didn't know. Because you expect black people to all have this same way of talking. So when you see someone talking the way I talk, you say, oh, I didn't know you were black. You sound white. I mean, just think about how dumb that sentence is. You sound white. What does that even mean? Are you guys saying that the only articulate sounding people are white people? Really? And the funniest part about these people doing this is that they're black. And they don't even realize that you're literally making fun of your own race. And that's because you associate being well-spoken to whiteness. So you're basically saying, oh, we're not supposed to be well-spoken. It's just such a stupid saying, but it's hard for people to put it any other way because it's just the way this world is. I've even heard people say to Asian people, you sound white. And Asian people are a bit different because the ones that grew up in the West, the way they talk is basically identical to white Americans. But that doesn't mean they sound white. I mean, what did you expect them to sound like? They're Asian American. They're not from China. They're not from Vietnam. Their parents are from China and Vietnam maybe, but they're born and raised here. So what do you guys expect them to sound like? Talking about, oh, they sound white. It's not called talking white. The entire concept of fitting in just means you're being a sheep. And that's kind of also why I just started this channel, because this channel is basically my rejection to the system. No, I'm not going to be a good little slave and just get a corporate job and climb the corporate ladder and just do what society says I should do. No. This channel is basically an FU to the system. I don't fit in with all that generic crap about go to college. I mean, I did go to college, but I only realized, near the end that this is not the path for me. That's where this YouTube channel comes into play. I don't fit in with a system, so I probably won't be able to succeed that way, in the traditional way, but this channel definitely helps pay the bills, I'll say that. Not only the bills, but once I move out, this channel is going to be paying my rent. And I find that very, very interesting, to be honest, because all I do on this channel is talk about society, the system, criticize it. And it's so ironic because the very thing I'm criticizing is, the thing that's paying me. I'm like, alright, screw the system. And the system's like, alright, thank you for saying that. Now here's your money for rent. And there's plenty of other YouTubers that do exactly what I do and get paid for it. These people make money off of this and, it's basically the same thing for them. And one thing all of us have in common is that the traditional way of doing things is just not for us. We don't fit in with that. And what I love about these channels is that we basically flip the script. We called out how BS it is, and yet the system still rewards us for it. And doesn't that just kind of prove how absurd this system is, to be honest? The fact that people can make money and be rewarded just for this, it's insane. And even that dude I was talking about in the beginning of the video that was talking about how he got exiled from his own race, that dude got like 60,000-70,000 views off of that. And I'm pretty sure he's monetized now because that's more than enough hours to be monetized. And I looked at his channel and, he's making plenty of views too. And that's why I love channels like this. We're not doing some gimmick, we're not doing some cringy stuff, reaction videos or, we're not doing that nonsense. We're keeping it real, just talking about life. And, people come to watch it because people nowadays, they crave authenticity. It's 2025, guys. No one wants to listen to some YouTuber talk about, hey guys, today I'm playing Minecraft episode 2000 and something. No one wants that nonsense anymore. I mean, not to criticize people that do that kind of content, but the truth is, people crave authenticity. I'm just here to come on here to talk and say the truth about life. The thing about careers is that I've always known that there is no career path I wanted. I just don't have it in me to fit in and just do what everyone else is doing. I have a job, I have a full-time job, but I have no intention on climbing the corporate ladder. I don't really even care at this point if I just keep this job. I just don't want to play that game everyone else is doing. I don't want to. I'm not built for it because jobs are just not for me. They're not. The only reason I'm doing this job is because it's a bit tolerable. It's not high skill. It pays enough to keep the bills paid. The thing is, if I wasn't doing YouTube, I would definitely need to get a higher paying job, but I'm on YouTube, so I don't have that pressure. So since I don't have that pressure, I'm gonna just keep working this job. I'm gonna just keep doing YouTube, keep making videos. So yeah guys, that's basically it for this one. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, take care.